So, have you ever wondered what the world's very first scientists were really thinking? Today, we're cracking open one of the most mysterious and influential texts in all of history, the Turba Philosophorum. We're going to decode the cryptic language of the alchemists and hopefully uncover the secrets they were so desperate to protect. Let's dive right in. And this is it. Now, I know, it might just look like some old book, but for hundreds of years, this was the key to understanding the secrets of matter, spirit, and transformation. You got to think of it less like a straightforward how-to guide and more like an intricate puzzle box, you know? It's just filled with riddles and secret knowledge that only the most dedicated could ever hope to unlock.
And really, that's the big question we're tackling. I want you to imagine a secret meeting of the greatest minds of the ancient world. We're talking Pythagoras, Socrates, all of them, gathered in one room to debate the fundamental nature of reality itself, because that's literally the premise of the book. So what on earth were they really talking about? To even begin to understand their secrets, we first need to get a handle on the book itself. This wasn't just another text on the shelf. For centuries, this was the absolute bedrock of Western alchemy. It was a foundation that would influence thinkers for generations to come.
So the title, Turba Philosophorum, literally just means Assembly of the Philosophers. The whole book is set up like a secret conference. Picture this. One by one, these ancient sages stand up and give their speech, their own personal take on the great work. And after each speech, the turba, the crowd, yells back their approval or their questions. It's this incredible, high-stakes debate, all shrouded in mystery. What's just fascinating here is the journey this knowledge took. I mean, it all started with these ancient Greek thinkers, right? But then it was preserved and even expanded upon by the brilliant minds of the Arabic world. And then it just explodes into medieval Europe with this Latin text. The Turba is that crucial bridge connecting the ancient world to the European alchemists who would go on to inspire people as famous as Isaac Newton. Okay, before we can decode their recipes, we have to understand their reality. And for these philosophers, the world wasn't made of atoms and molecules. No, it was built from four fundamental elements. This was the lens through which they saw absolutely everything. You see, for them, everything, and I mean everything from a simple rock to the stars in the sky to our own bodies, was just a unique combination of these four elements, which were defined by their qualities. So as the text says, fire is hot and dry, water is cold and moist. An alchemist's job wasn't just mixing chemicals, it was about rebalancing these cosmic qualities to create a kind of perfect harmony. And they had this brilliant, incredibly simple way of explaining it. One of the sages, a guy named Pandolphus, uses an egg, a regular egg, to explain the entire cosmos. He says the shell is earth, the white is water, that little membrane is air, and the yolk, well, that's fire. It's a perfect little microcosm of creation, a whole universe you can hold in the palm of your hand. Okay, now this is where things get really tricky, and it's where most people who try to read this stuff just get completely tripped up. You absolutely cannot read this book literally. The alchemists spoke in code, using everyday words to mean very, very different things. It was a language designed to hide things as much as it revealed them.
Let's just look at a few examples, right? When they say our copper, they're not talking about the metal in your plumbing. They mean a base substance, the very subject of their work. Lead often refers to the initial, dark, chaotic state of matter. And vinegar? That's one of their secret names for a powerful spiritual solvent that they believed could break down and purify even gold itself. And this right here is one of the biggest secrets in the whole text. When you see the term permanent water, do not think of H2O. This is a philosophical concept. The text calls it a spiritual blood, an agent so powerful it could dissolve a physical body and turn it into a spirit, preparing it to receive a new, more perfect form. It was the absolute key to the entire operation. You'll see this quote or something very like it over and over again in the Turba. And honestly, it's like the master key to their entire philosophy. What it means is that all transformation has to come from within. You don't add something foreign to a substance. You work with its own inherent nature to help it achieve its own perfection. You're just unlocking the potential that's already there. So now we have the building blocks, and we've got some of the secret language down. What was the actual goal here? What was this great work that they were all so intensely focused on? Well, they didn't exactly lay it out for you in a simple list. The whole process was intentionally hidden behind layers and layers of metaphor. You see, they believed this knowledge was sacred, even dangerous. And it was definitely not meant for the foolish or the envious. But for those who knew how to look, they did leave clues. The sage Zaimon actually gives us one of the clearest roadmaps by comparing the work to the 4 seasons. You start in winter, dissolving the raw material back into its chaotic primordial state. Then in spring, you gently cook it, purifying it. In summer, you coagulate it, bringing it back into a new, stable form. And finally, in autumn, you get to reap the fruit, the final, perfect substance, the tincture. That whole complex, year-long process really boils down to 2 key stages. First, there's the whitening, or albedo, where you take the dark, raw matter and you purify it until it's perfectly white. Then comes the reddening, the rubedo, which is the final perfection, creating that legendary philosopher's stone. Their little mantra sums the whole thing up: whiten the red and redden the white. So, why should we care about this strange, coded text today? It's not like we're trying to learn how to make gold. Its real value is the window it gives us into a lost way of thinking, a completely different way of seeing the entire world. And this is probably the most important takeaway from all of this. It is so easy to dismiss alchemy as just bad chemistry, but that completely misses the point. To these philosophers, there was no separation between the physical world and the spiritual one. Transforming lead into gold was also about transforming the soul. This book is an incredibly rare window into a time when science and spirit were just 2 sides of the very same coin. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. When we read the Turba Philosophorum, are we just looking at the failed experiments of some early chemists? Or are we getting a glimpse of a completely different, holistic way of seeing the universe? One where every substance had a spirit, and every transformation in the lab was deeply connected to a transformation within the soul. The answer, much like the text itself, is far from simple.